And Call Stars is a phenomenal place where they're all members, they're all experienced loan officers, mostly for most part. You have loan officers at every level, major branch managers or a regular loan officer like say I am, right? And you actually sit there block, the time is already blocked off. The coach comes on, tells you exactly what you need to do, give you some coaching, maybe refresh your scripts, and everyone is motivated. You mute and you start calling.
Hey, welcome to Loan Officer Growth Podcast, the podcast that helps loan officers grow their business, increase their success, and have more freedom. And today we have Alan Singh on the call. How you doing, man?
Fantastic, Richard. Fantastic. Thank you for having me. And it's an honor to be invited to be talking with you today. So
You bet.
I'm great.
Thank you. Yeah, Alan, you're in Queens, New York. Loan officer out there, and how long have you been in the business? You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, actually, I've been in the mortgage business now full-time over 10 years. I've dabbled in it before when I was doing real estate investing. I've done some real estate investing, but predominantly 10 years now, I'm a loan officer for a local mortgage bank here in New York. Covering, the Queens area, Long Island area, Brooklyn. So we're part of the 5 boroughs of New York City. So local market, close to, just to give you a geographical location, close to JFK Airport, kind of.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I've been a full-time loan officer, and I'm just an LO, and I start building a small team right now. So, and thanks to you, Richard, I've been able to execute fairly well in the past 5 months because now I'm a member of MMA called Stars. And now, I met you as a coach on the MMA call Stars Wednesday morning meetings.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you.
You bet, man. That's awesome. Well, let's talk about what you just brought up, because some people are listening. They may have no idea what Call Stars is. What is Call Stars?
So in essence, I've been coach. I become a member of Mortgage Marketing Animals at the beginning of the year because I needed some direction, and it's been a changing market. But I wanted my 2023 to be incredibly good, so I needed some help with coaching, and I ran into MMA, which is Mortgage Marketing Animals, and it's run by Carl White and his whole team, and you being one of his coaches as well.
Yep.
And there's a system that was created, which is phenomenal, called the Daily Success Plan. And it's beautiful because they block off, they have a team day Monday through Thursday. And you sit with a group of loan officers on Zoom, and you make prospecting calls. And every day has a different team, So Monday you call realtors, Tuesday you do your follow-up with realtors and agents, Wednesday is database calls, and then Thursday is the PALs, the pre-proven lookings, right?
Yep.
And then at 9:30 Eastern, there's Call Stars. And it's a group of loan officers gather on Zoom. There's an amazing coach usually every day, every Monday through Thursday. And I met you there, Richard, on a Wednesday morning because you host the New York East Coast Call Stars. And Call Stars is a phenomenal place where they're all members, they're all experienced loan officers, mostly for most part. You have loan officers at every level, major branch managers or a regular loan officer like say I am, right? And you actually sit there the time is already blocked off. The coach comes on, tells you exactly what you need to do, give you some coaching, maybe refresh your scripts, and everyone is motivated. You mute and you start calling. Nice. And I think I'm on my 8th to 9th day today of Call Stars. Never missed a day. And we all know, right? We need to make these calls, but we never do. But now when you have this energy, this group energy, and you have an amazing coach such as yourself in running the team, the motivation and the inspiration and the call reluctance kind of go away. And then you start executing, and then you find out, you know what, this is not so difficult. And then you start seeing the results. I mean, I got to tell you, I've had some very good results in the past, what, 4.5 months. Not just on the number of leads I've gotten, but also closed transactions. I'll give you an idea. When I start calling in the beginning of January, first of all, I had the wrong list. I was just told, you got to call realtors, you got to call,
Right.
attorneys, divorce attorneys. So I start calling people who I have in my phone or in my CRM. And I was getting some results. And then I heard something called the qualified agents list. And this is something that you have, Richard. And I heard about it on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, hosted by Frank and Carl and Steve and you and so on. So I ordered the list in January. I got it end of January. And there were 1,087 qualified agents. Because you think about it, we're going calling or fishing in the wrong place, right?
Right.
And these are agents who've done 8 or more buy sides per year, last year in 2022. So I learned this from Carl White, where he said, run through the list and see who you can identify that you know or they know you already. And instantly I got 7. And I was able to add 7 realtors to my Focus 40 within the first week.
Oh, wow.
So that gave me a big jump start. Before that, and this is the list called the Focus 40, which is a list of realtors that refer us business,
Right.
So now suddenly I go from 4 to 11, and this is all from the qualified agents list. So now my Focus 40 grew rapidly to 11. So then, the team calls for calling realtors on Monday mornings and schedule coffee meetings. And I was making the calls, but I wanted to ramp up real fast. And I recall, you might not recall this, Richard, but I asked you this question in Wednesday morning. I said, Richard, it's January. It's winter in New York. I need to get this list and run through the list and build my Focus 40 list of realtors who will refer me business in a real short period of time. My goal was March 31st because,
Right.
I want to be ready before the spring market in New York because our market is seasonal, right? So, and you said you got to double down. And I go, all right, what does double down mean? It means I can't just sit there and make 30 calls a day. I got to really do 68 and 90. So your qualified agents list helped me, which I got from qualifiedagentslist.com, I guess, where I now need to ramp up, but there's not enough time in it because we still got to do all the other stuff, right? You got to set up the loans, this, that. And it's me alone. Of course, my company provides a processor. So I needed more help. So I reached out to you again, Richard, and you mentioned there was a remote assistant scout. And what they are is they're executive assistants, I like to call them, technically really virtual assistants, but they're brilliant. And there's a couple of guys, Gerard and Omar, reached out to me. And I said, hey guys, I need help with some assistance. And they sent me a list of 6 candidates. And this was well put together. I mean, professionally. I mean, you had a video of the candidates, the VAs, a list with there's an audio recording. You have their resume, of course, and their this profile and the whole thing. So I'm looking at these 6 and the beautiful thing though is they rank them. So make my life easier because so how do I pick out of the 6?
Right.
So obviously I listened to all the recordings and I narrow it down to the top 2. And I got to tell you, it's the most, because I was looking for an assistant for a long time and I couldn't find, I had one in Florida, maybe I just had the wrong one, right? It was costly. That was one. And two, she works when, there are times when you can feel that she's not delivering as she should, right? But so anyhow, I had to make a decision to hire one of those two. And then one of the things that got me was when I look at the resume for the number one candidate, in there it says, in his resume, it says Thor's Hammer. And that instantly told me this guy knows the MMA system. He knows the daily success plan system.
Right.
So what that means is I can hire him and there's no training. So what that means, I just hire him, give him the list, and he start calling. And that's what I did. I hired him, not a minute of training, Richard. Then one day in the Breakfast Club, one guy says, I heard him saying, well, are they saying the right thing? And then I start thinking, I wonder what is this guy really saying? But the results is what matters. I learned from Carl. He says, if the guy's getting you 10, 12 appointments a week, doesn't matter.
So he was scheduling you 10 to 12 a week?
Yes.
Nice.
In 12 hours per week. So, and of those 12, initially in the first 3 months, 8 of those 12 where I was able, the ratio was about 62% were showing up.
Yep.
And I was doing these on Zoom. Because I'm in New York, to drive around from here, it'll
Right.
take me forever to drive 2 blocks, So I did them all on Zoom and then eventually some on the phone, So now let me just add this. There was a second VA on the remote assistant scout list, and she was amazing. Her English, and by the way, let me just address this. When there's sometimes people are concerned about accents. I'm an immigrant. Right. I'm a foreign guy. I mean, I live in New York. We all have some sort of accent, right? So these VAs are clean. They're super educated. The second one has 3 Bachelor of Science degrees in tourism, communication, and nursing. And Omar was in the interview with me, and we listened to her, and I go, wow, she's brilliant, clean. Those who were worried about her accent. So I wasn't sure which one of those 2 VAs to hire. So I gave it to I have a little daughter at home, Gen Z, 23-year-old. I said, honey, who do I hire? She played, because their minds are completely differently wired than ours. Their mindset is totally different. Brilliant, but and she goes, Dad, why don't you just hire them both?
There you go.
I was like, okay. And they're worth every penny. So I hired them both.
Yep.
So one makes Thor's Hammer calls for me every day, Monday through Thursday. And the second one follows up with my database calls, including the mortgage leads that we've had in our system that either got cold or they got frustrated or they didn't qualify back some time ago. So, and she generates about 5 leads per week for me. Actually, I just got 2 contracts this month in May, only just solely from her efforts.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. And today she sent me a new mortgage lead, which is very well qualified. And all she does is simply call and follow up with my list, with my database. So
yeah.
So 2 things: the qualified agents list, worth every penny, because now we're calling the right agents, and get executive assistants, virtual assistants through remote assistant scouts. And those are working very well. They save me 24 hours per week.
Yeah. And what do you pay them? $5 or $6 an hour?
Yes. And I kind of felt bad because, I'm in New York. I mean, $5-6 an hour is probably what do you get for $5
well, the cost of living.
So I pay them on the higher range of the scale. you know.
Okay, yeah. But you also remember the cost of living is so different in the Philippines.
Yeah,
That they're
yeah,
making really, really good money. Yeah.
yeah. And
And
they're
they get
very
that.
pleasant.
Say
Yeah.
that?
I said they're very pleasant because one of the things I thought of too is if they're going to make a call to one of my past clients, right?
Right.
Um, I want them to come across very pleasant, or like, let's say the guys who are making Tours Hammer calls. If he has it's Monday morning, it's 9 a.m., he's calling a realtor, and the realtor is not in such a good mood, he's still going to be able to stay calm and continue and,
Right.
and go on with his job. So they don't get distracted, they don't get disturbed, they don't get rattled, beautiful. So thank you for that, Richard. Qualified agents list and the remote assistant scout really did very, very well for me because I don't know, I don't have 24 hours to put into those type of activities.
Right.
And now to give you a perspective, remote assistant, I mean the qualified agent lists, I've generated uh, 7 realtors instantly to the Focus 40, and I've got an additional 9. So right now I grew my Focus 40 by 16 in about 21 weeks.
Wow. So those are 16 realtor relationships that you have that are sending you business, sending you leads, right? Warm
Correct.
referrals.
Correct. Correct.
That's excellent.
And I have 80, no, adding one today, 81 post-coffee follow-ups.
Oh, wow.
So the qualified agents plus the virtual assistants, phenomenal. It will take me forever to generate that kind of activity in say what 3 months.
Right. So how do you
Yeah.
follow up with your post appointment agents?
So this is something I learned from I had asked this in the MMA Call Stars, again, a valuable source because you can ask the coaches questions directly. And one of the struggles I had to follow up with my Focus 40 and then do my post coffee follow-ups.
Right.
And because there were so many calls, I couldn't complete them on one day. So I asked the question in Loan Officer Breakfast Club, which is every morning, 8:30 Eastern, hosted by Frank and you and Carl. And Carl says, call the Focus 40 first. So every Monday morning, actually, some mornings I don't start at 9:30. I start before the MMA call starts because I want to squeeze that extra half an hour.
Right.
And I don't end at 11:30. I continue till 12. So I don't block off 2 hours. I block off 3 hours actually. So I call the Focus 40 first. And then when I complete that, then I start calling all the post coffee. So I do all the post coffee follow-ups. The
Good.
Tours Hammer pre-coffee, I let the VA do all those calls for me because he's getting me, 10, 12 appointments per week.
Right.
So
what do you
and
see?
so that's how I do my Monday follow-ups. And that has to continue. The post-coffee has to go on for at least 12 weeks. I'm fortunate sometimes on the very first call, I have a good feel that the realtor is going to work with me. And sometimes a handful of times you'll get maybe 1, 2, 3 times you'll get the referral within the first week. Sometimes it's week 5, 6, 7.
Right.
But one of the key I've learned, and I experienced this last week, is on week 12, actually week 11, the week 11, I finally got a referral from a realtor I was following up with. And many times it's voicemail, right? And you just leave the same script on the voicemail that we learned from MMA. And he returned my call and he gave me a cash out refi where the client needs 3 million in cash. And I might need to refi about 3 properties to get them this 3 million. And that happened until week 11 on the post-coffee follow-up. So
yeah, most people quit
and follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah. Most loan officers never call that many weeks in a row, especially if you're getting voicemail. It's that consistency and that persistence, I think, that really makes a difference.
Yeah, the coaching that you and the team at MMA provides, Richard, it's valuable. And in the MMA university, I would call it, it provides all that information right there. You just follow it.
Right.
You go in, and the coach said, do this, and you just do it. I'm a pretty good student. So I just do what you guys tell me to do, really. And it's simple stuff.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone call, and you call, you got a voicemail, you just leave the same script on the voicemail and you continue. So so it's fantastic. So thank you to Carl and the team and MMA and you, Richard. So thank you.
Well, you're an implementer, so thank yourself too, because you've grabbed a hold of this and you've implemented. So that's a big difference. Not everybody does that.
Yeah, I actually that is, yeah, I agree. But when you have so much good support, I think it makes it a lot easier, I think.
Right.
So yeah.
So what's your next 90 days look like? What are your goals?
Okay. I'll share numbers, closings. Okay. It's the best way I know it. I'm a numbers guy.
Yep.
And that's really what speaks, right? Because as you know, my Focus 40 now is hitting 30, 81 post coffee. I have 20 loans in the pipeline.
Wow.
But the only thing is in New York, Richard, it takes 60 days, sometimes 90 days to close a deal. Don't ask me why, but it just takes forever. So now, which means now our Tuesday morning follow-ups with listing agents is more, right? Which gives us more. So the positive side with that, I've learned this from you guys, is give us the opportunity now to work that listing agent, and it's working. I'm now starting getting referrals from listing agents.
Very nice.
It started a few weeks now. And so answer your question on 90 days, November, December, my volume dropped to about 3-4 loans per month. And that's when I said, no, I got to pick this back up. Quick thing is I did the I will statement with you guys on January 5th. I got to tell you, I had a huge paradigm shift. It was taught by Tammy. And I think to myself, I've attended so many goal setting, workshops.
Right.
But that really, it had a big shift in my mind. The work optional and the way she break it down to 10 leads per week was what I came up with. This was back in January. I'll have to take that up now, though. But it converts to about 10 closings per month. But I haven't gotten to that yet. I've done that in the past. But after last year, more volume dropped to about 3-4 per month. January, I picked it up back, even though it was winter. February, so I was up to 4-5. January, February, March, I hit 6.
Nice.
Now, May, it's a weird month, but I had 8 on the board for May.
Very cool.
But you know how it is. It's all ready to clear to close and something pops up. That goes, right? So I might end up with 6 again. April also I dropped back to 4. So I'm running around 4 or 5. Now the next 90 days, which I'm thinking June, July, August, because now we're getting to the summer markets. I'm looking to get somewhere around 7, 8.
Right.
Subsequent to that, I'm looking to get about 8, 9, 10. But by the end of this year, I'm looking to be consistently doing about 10 per month.
Right.
And now I'm having auto struggles because now I'm working on getting a pre-approval specialist.
Okay.
Company provides a processor. So the back end is okay. But I'm generating 40, 50 leads per month now, so it's quite a bit, and I need to be efficient and close on time, and all of that stuff. So
Correct.
that's my next 90 days, get it back to about 6, 7, get it to 7, 8, 9, 10, ultimately 10, 11, 12, and then I'll see. As I grow with you guys, and I'll ask you, Richard, what do I do next, right? Or you and Carl, and then you guys will tell me, what do I do next?
Yep.
And that's my game plan. So I have the,
Yeah, you're doing the right
MMA.
thing, following up with those realtors and
Yeah,
keep building that list, because that's what's increased your lead coming in
yeah,
big time. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like clockwork. The leads are coming in, you just call and ask.
It's magic.
Magic, right? Actually, I will add that part that asking for the business is something I personally was missing out a lot on.
Right.
I was assuming, right, that they know me. They know I'm a mortgage guy. They'll just give me the business, including family and friends, Richard.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I start asking my neighbor, hey, Bob, his name is Bob too. Hey, any family friends? Alan, you can count on me. I was like, okay. But I saw him this morning and I ask him again. Every time I see him, I ask him again,
Yep.
So
Yeah, when
ask
you
him.
make a habit of the asking, it
Yeah,
comes naturally, and people are very,
yeah,
very open to saying, yes, you can count on me.
yeah, yeah. And because sometimes they assume we're okay. They're assuming, hey, I'm doing fine. I don't need the business.
Right.
Maybe he's too busy. He doesn't need more business. But once you ask, they know you need it. So,
Yes.
so that's how that's working.
That's
Ask,
great, man. That's really great. And your results are really showing now.
yeah. Yeah, thanks to you guys, Richard. Thanks to you guys. I mean,
Well, you're an implementer, so
so
so what words of encouragement do you have for loan officers out there in the times that we're in? Like things are a little different out there, right? What words of
yeah.
encouragement do you have?
Yeah, you're totally right because I watch in our current company, I see the top loan officers are struggling, and these guys were doing well. And the processors, I speak to them every day pretty much, and they're saying things are down. And the top guys who are doing very, very well, they're struggling. And these are guys with large databases. Yeah, they've been around much, much longer than I've been. And I would say number one is find yourself someone who has a track record of been successful in the business, have been doing it for a while. Get a good coach, get a good organization like Mortgage Marketing Animals. Um, and I would say I've looked at a few before I decide to. Somehow I feel connected or attracted to MMA.
Right.
So join MMA. I would say because based on who I've been, because there are coaches out there. Not to sound terrible, but some of them have never done a loan or they haven't done a loan in 20 years or 10, whatever. So get someone who has been doing it and is doing it today and doing it successfully. So that's one. Um, then once you become a member of MMA, don't miss call stars. What if it's that 9:30 to 11:30, that 2 hours? It's only 8 hours per week.
Right.
There's 168 hours in a week. 8 to make calls, and you got the other 160 to do
Amazing,
whatever.
right?
It's such a tiny amount of time, right? So join Call Stars. The coaches will tell you what to do. So you don't have to, and time block, like Steve talks about time block, you don't even need the time block. It's already blocked for you. So show up at 9:30, have
Yep.
your list ready, get your qualified agents list from Richard Smith, qualified agents list, get on Call Stars, pick up the phone and just call and follow the scripts and follow the system. Attend Loan Officer Breakfast Club every day as well. That's a free half an hour. Exciting group. Every single morning is something exciting going on.
Yep.
Uh, and then follow the plan, follow the daily success plan. It is such, I mean, whoever came up with that they're geniuses, you know, just amazing how it's so well laid out. And that sequence of what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's not random.
Oh, it definitely isn't.
No. So it's like on autopilot. You show up, you sit in the cockpit, and the thing takes off, and you're off, to an amazing start. And you will be successful. As long as you follow the plan, you will 100% be successful.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. Thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for all you do for us. And see you in Call Stars soon.
Yes, sure will. I'll see you tomorrow on Call Stars. Well,
oh yes, tomorrow's Wednesday, right? There's already. Yes,
awesome. It was great having you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things to think about that Alan talked about, but if anybody has any questions about the mortgage marketing animals, you can go to dailysuccessplan.com and leave your information there. Have a free strategy call, which can really help. And that sounds like a wrap, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for having me. All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right. You too.